For almost 50 years, Midway USA has been America's go-to source for just about everything for shooting, hunting, and the outdoors. Go to midwayusa.com to see our latest deals and promotions and take advantage of our super fast same-day shipping. If you need a cooler, a new fishing rod, another rifle, ammo, or a reloading press, you can find it all at midwayusa.com. Thanks for your business. Midway USA brand product designers have one straightforward goal: develop high-quality, technically sound products and deliver them to customers at reasonable prices. If you are immersed in the shooting sports industry and pay close attention to every single detail, you know our products are built right and stand up to everyday use. Who has shooting mats and range bag systems to hunting clothing and just about everything for the outdoors? Log on and shop 24/7 with super fast shipping. MidwayUSA.com.
This episode is brought to you by Vortex Optics and Ignite Marketing Group. Check the links in the show notes.
We noticed there were two guys broke in through my back window of my truck.
Oh, what?
And was stealing all the hunting gear out of my truck. Now, I had my deck system loaded up with my guns. They ended up stealing both of our laptops and all my buddy's hunting gear, and they almost got to guns on the back seat, but we interrupted them. And our instinct, and look, in hindsight, we wouldn't go this route again, but our instinct was like, hey, get out of our truck and run. And so we kind of flanked them from both sides. Now, remember, they got a getaway car. And we yell, so we give them a 30-yard head start to get back in the car. My buddy goes in back of my truck and back of their car, and I cut him off and get stuck in front of the car. Now, this sedan was, 6 inches, 8 inches off the ground. One look at me, I ain't fitting under 6-8 inches of car. You know what I mean? I'm getting dragged. Or I'm riding the roof. And that's exactly what happened. I got caught in front of the car. They punched it. Kind of took me out by my knees. I grabbed each side of the roof, at the windshield wipers, you know?
Yeah. Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Hunting Stories Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and we have a great episode for you today. Today, we are connecting with the great Chef Jean-Paul. We were connected through a mutual friend. And he has some wonderful stories. In fact, he has one of the best hunting stories I've ever had that has actual no hunting in it. So it was a very fun episode. I really enjoyed sitting down with Jean-Paul. Hopefully we get him back on here on the podcast again soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Please check out all the links. There's a ton of stuff that he's up to. We go into it at the end of the episode. So get there, listen to what he's up to, click the links, give the chef a follow. But for now, guys, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. I don't need to waste any more of your time. Let's go ahead and let Jean-Paul tell you his stories. Thank you. But I prefer Michael.
You got it, man.
Let me think here if there's anything. Oh, I can edit in post. So let's say dog runs in, kid runs in, fire alarm goes off. Not a big deal. Take care of what's going on around you. We'll worry about the rest later. I'll clean everything up. Sound good?
You got it.
Okay, perfect, man. Then a quick pause. We'll chat a little bit. I'll tell you about my Creole past and my dad and stuff, and then we'll dive into some stories. Cool?
Right on.
All right, quick pause. All right, Jean-Paul, welcome to the Hunting Stories Podcast, brother. How are you?
Man, Michael, I'm good. I'm feeling that. I'm sure you're already feeling that cold air, but here in the Panhandle of Florida, we're feeling it, and it's starting to feel
cold
real good.
Yeah, that Florida cold air. You mean like 75? What are you talking about?
Man, I actually think, dude, this might be one of the coolest Halloweens on record, I think, right here.
Really?
I mean, it's in the high 50s, low 60s right now. I'm going to be something like that. For late October, I'll take it.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. Right now, it might be warmer here where I am in Colorado than where you are. If you're in the 50s and 60s, we get cold mornings, like those perfect crisp mornings. But right now, it's still in like the high 60s and 70s in the afternoon, so nice and sunny. That's why you love Colorado.
Pretty good there too, man.
Yeah, man, can't complain. But dude, I'm super excited to talk with you. We were introduced by a mutual friend, George Blitch, and he's like, dude, he wants to get on your show. So here we are. I'm excited to hear your stories. And I've been diving into kind of you, your brand, etc. And man, like you're a Cajun chef, and that's like my bread and butter. My favorite food, I get it on the menu if it's no matter what, jambalaya. my dad's he was born in New Orleans, and so like that's just it's part of my soul to get that Cajun food, man. So I'm excited to talk with you. I'm probably gonna bug you from this point forward for like cooking tips and things like that, because I love red beans and rice and crawfish boils and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm glad that you're here.
You got it, man. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate that passion behind it, man. You know, like you get a lot of red beans and rice and jambalaya lovers in this world, but Cajun food, as you know, it goes deep, man. This is why I love
Yeah.
talking about it. This is why I love being from Louisiana. I don't live there currently, but you know, the people that carry those recipes and the stories behind them are always incredible, which is why it's fun being on this podcast with you, telling stories, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. Let's take a small step back. I got too excited just about the idea of Cajun food. So why don't we do this, Chef? Why don't you introduce yourself so the folks know who they're hearing stories from if they don't already know, of what you got going on.
Of course. Well, my name's Jean-Paul Bourgeois. On Instagram, I'm Chef Jean_Paul. So, I always say that in the beginning because you meet so many people now and you follow so many people, myself included, that sometimes you meet them in real person. Like, man, I felt like I've met you years and years ago. And so some of y'all may only know me from my Instagram, but now you can see the face, pretty beautiful, bald face. Well,
Spectacular.
Spectacular. So, yeah, I have a show called Duck Camp Dinners. I do a number of different content around short and long form and so on, Duck Camp Dinners being kind of the longest form stuff, but also do, a lot of private events or food festivals or cooking at different camps and so on. Classically trained, New York City, San Francisco, Louisiana, grew up in Louisiana, went to culinary school in Louisiana. And, at 41 with two children now, I'm fortunate enough to be able to kind of, do what I want in some sense of the word. I'm
Good for you, man.
creating content, getting on podcasts, telling stories, cooking food, and just enjoying being a dad right now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. That's the dream. I'm 41 as well. I got two kids. I got a third one that's due in like a week and a half. But man, like you're living the dream. That's where my wife and I were just talking about this, about like expanding on this podcast a little bit and making it like my full-time gig. But we'll see about that. We're for now, I'm just happy I get to talk with folks like you, man.
Look, man, every step is another stone, So
Yeah, absolutely.
just keep on the journey, bro.
Yeah. So here's a question I have for you. You touched on your culinary background. I want to dive a little bit into your hunting background. How long have you been hunting? Did you pick it up late in life? Did you come out of the womb with a shotgun and a duck call?
Yeah.
Like, tell me where you fall into that spectrum.
Yeah, pretty early. Just discovering the outdoors pretty early. Everything from your BB guns and pellet guns to, as you graduating into larger gauge shotguns and rifles and so on. It's been probably, I don't know. I say that because my mom and dad had no problem with me and my buddy pulling a pirogue across a 2 acre yard, across a highway, launching it into a bayou. We were 8, 9 years old, no life vests, an igloo cooler with some bologna sandwiches, just to go catch bluegill, perch, and catfish in Bayou Lafourche. And would do that all day and come back with 10 perch, and my parents would clean them and cook them. That was like 9, 10 years old. I don't know if I'd let my own children do that when I'm thinking about it when they're 9 or 10, but they sure let me do it, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And
It's a different world,
dad,
man. Different
Yeah,
world. I used to
yeah,
8,
for
9,
sure.
10. I was gone all day, every day. Nowadays, it's kind of scary as a parent to think about letting your kids just like, come back before it's dark.
Yeah, I don't know what changed. Well, I guess I know what changed, but I'm trying to get back and just kind of keep that in mind as I raise my kids to get a little older. And so, my dad was a big duck hunter, loved to duck hunt. Started going probably 7, 8 years old with him. Started with just getting into the blind and taking a boat to the blind, and then kind of developed into like really hunting with him and so on, being part of the crew and having a role.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, I took somewhat of a break, if you will, because after culinary school, I moved to California, then the Virgin Islands, then New York City. And there was a big stretch from 2000, basically 2006 to 2016, where I only hunted a few times, only duck hunted a few times a year. So I'd go back to Louisiana, I'd hunt with my friends and family, and then I'd come back
Yeah.
to working wherever I was. Then once I got to my professional career where I could take some, I didn't have to like grind that way in a commercial kitchen. I started hunting more again, and then over the last 5 years, I duck hunt the majority of the season, and by that I mean 40 plus days out of 60. I would say
Yeah.
I'm somewhere hunting. That's the high level, if you will.
Okay. Okay, got it. Here's another question I have for you. I've always been into, well, actually, let me rephrase that. I have not always been into food. I've always been, I like playing around when I have a special tie to the ingredients, which is maybe why hunting is such a big deal for me. Like, I really enjoy to cook the meat that I've harvested. And I want to get a bigger property so I get a big garden. I have no interest in garden or like cooking when I wasn't responsible for the ingredients. For you, like when did you know that you had this like passion for food and wanted to make that your career? Because that's a gnarly career, man. A lot of people go into it. A lot of people end up just being bartenders for years and years and years and years, So what was it for you that drove you and got you started in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in South Louisiana, a little town called Thibodaux. I was born in a town called Labadeville, Louisiana, then moved to Thibodaux. And for those who are from Lafourche and Assumption parishes, I don't know how many people are listening right now from Lafourche and Assumption Parish. No, that's even for a family that grew up in Labadeville then moved to Thibodaux, that's like a big jump. It's from like 3,000 people to 15,000 people.
Yeah, that's substantial.
And that's I say all that because I grew up in a wonderful food community of South Louisiana, a community like geographically that love food. A family in the house every day, loved food. Friends and family of my family that gathered for special occasions, like we gathered and cooked. So a lot of that attribute just being from South Louisiana and just being immersed in a culture that loves and admires and respects traditional culinary and just like foodways, right? Food traditions and so on. And at a very young age, I was at my parents' hip, just watching or stirring a pot or seasoning whatever. There's been a lot of moments that I can look to back in my life and say, man, that really started just like it started. Like I remember the time where I realized, oh wow, like I know I love food. I know it makes me happy when I eat great food, but now I'm watching other people eat great food and watching their reactions and expressions, and that triggered something in me that steered me in a certain path. The hospitality aspect of running restaurants as a business, not just cooking. Cooking is a passion that many have, right?
Yeah.
But running a business of hospitality, that's really what we're in the business of when you run restaurants. It's not food, it's not drinks, it's hospitality. We show hospitality through those different mediums of food, drink, and so on.
Yeah.
But and so that's a whole nother kind of like angle there, but mostly I just say that I was just a fortunate son of South Louisiana, a fortunate son of a family that really wanted to be around the dinner table together, and cooking together and sharing a meal. And I just think that was a trickle. And I was always good at it too. Like my dad was a camp cook, he's a lawyer by trade, but when he'd go to different duck camps, fishing camps, deer camps, he'd be the cook 1 or 2 nights at least. That's how I fall in place. I'm not going to be like, I don't have a dog, I can't bring my dog and it's a big asset to the hunt. I don't have land. I can't be that kind of asset. I just got my first mud boat. Like my asset is cooking. My asset is coming to the camp and throwing down, So that's what I do.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love that. Okay, cool. Well, I could ask probably 100 more questions just about your background because it's really intriguing to me, but we're going to stop there because that's not why people are here. They'll get to know you by checking you out on your stuff. What we're here today for is from Hunting Stories. So why don't you set the stage, man, for the first story? I know you got a handful for us today.
Yeah, I'll try to keep them. I do have a handful that kind of touch different avenues of what I do and the stories that have been involved. And some are really great, some are not so great. But I want to start off with the one, I guess, that happened to me not most recently, but it feels like yesterday.
Okay.
Um, and that's Memphis, Tennessee. My buddy and I, Jay Schecksnyder and um, well, I auctioned off a dinner to be cooked at somebody's home in Memphis for an auction that we had at the Shin Film Festival. Um,
Cool.
so yeah, I've done that a couple of times. It's fun. It's neat to see what people would pay for eating Cajun food. It's great. Um, and but Jay always comes with me. Oh, typically comes with me around the country and helps me cook. He's not a professional cook, but he knows how to cooks really well. He knows me really well. He knows how we work, and we work good together. So he's with me in Memphis. We drive up there in my truck, and our plan was to go knock out this dinner and then head across the river and go duck hunt Arkansas for I think it was like 5 to 7 days, three different
Okay.
spots. So we get into Memphis and we do some prep work the day before, getting everything ready, stocks going, sauces going, everything so we can walk in the day of the dinner and knock it out. Well, we had a good day of prep. Next morning, we eat breakfast. We're sitting at the hotel breakfast, like, man, we don't need to go to that house at 9 in the morning. Got a pretty, good bit done today. Let's go see Memphis a little bit. We've both been to Memphis a number of times, but let's go do something that we haven't done in the city, something like really touristy, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think of when you think about tourists in Memphis?
Running an outdoor business is a grind. One day you're glassing ridgelines or running dogs, the next you're tuning gear or working to keep the land wild. And somewhere in between, you're expected to fill calendars, move product, and keep your name alive. That's where the Ignite Marketing Group comes in. They work with outfitters, gear brands, and conservation groups to tell your story the way it deserves to be told, and to put it in front of the people who live for this lifestyle. Imagine a website that doesn't just sit there but actually books hunts. Imagine campaigns that don't feel like ads, but like a buddy passing along a tip. Imagine your story reaching more hunters, anglers, and outdoor enthusiasts who get it and who want it. That's what Ignite does. No gimmicks, no flash, just real growth for people who belong in the outdoors. Don't just market, ignite it. Learn more at ignitemarketinggp.com/outdoors. Hey hunters, have you ever had one of those stories, the ones that you didn't want to tell, the ones that end in failure? Yeah, I've been there. Actually, you know what? The culprit for me usually is bad optics, or worse, lack of using my optics at all. Picture this. I spot a trophy buck, or an antelope, or an elk, whatever it may be. My heart is racing, but the blurry view, or I just can't quite identify exactly what I'm looking at, it has me second guessing. Well, that's where Vortex Optics comes in. With crystal clear glass and rugged durability, Vortex gives you the confidence to take the shot. Don't let poor optics ruin your story. Make every moment count. Upgrade to Vortex and turn your hunting tales into triumphs. Visit vortexoptics.com today.
Hunting is not easy. It never has been. It takes dedication, motivation, a lot of patience, and quality gear. If you manage a food plot, put up stands, or need just one more game camera, we can help at midwayusa.com. We opened our doors in 1977 and continue to put customers first by offering super fast, same-day shipping. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to midwayusa.com.
Man, Tennessee.
Memphis
I
specifically.
don't know. I'm trying to think about Memphis. I always think of Nashville and the music and stuff like that. I'm trying
All
to
right,
think about
I'll give
Memphis.
you a hint. I'm all shook up. Do 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 do.
Oh, okay. You're right. Elvis. Yep. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
Elvis. And so we're like, let's go to Graceland, which is Elvis's childhood home turned into a museum. I like Elvis. Not a huge fan of Elvis at all,
Yeah.
but I say, hey, this is something we never did. Let's
When
go
in
do it.
Rome. I mean, when
Yeah.
in Graceland. Yeah.
So we go into the parking lot, pay our $10, gated, secure parking lot, and we park. It's 9 in the morning. It's 9:15 about roundish. It opened at
Okay.
9, right? I park right dead center, like basically at the entrance. It's kind of a ramp, a long 50-yard ramp that goes up to the main office. We walk up the ramp, go in to buy tickets. It's like $85 a ticket for per
Woo,
person.
really?
And the tour's like 2 hours or so. And me and my buddy looked at each other like, look, I mean, Elvis is cool and all. Like, probably had a great life. Like, I don't need to pay 85, $100, whatever it's going to be after tax to go see this thing. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
My buddy said,
Yep.
I'm out too. Like, God
I'm
bless you.
actually glad the story pivoted the way that it did right there, because I was thinking the same
So,
thing.
like, we took a picture and we go. And when
Yeah.
we walk out of the building, my I see this white sedan parked next to my truck, and the first thing that pops in my head is like, why is this dude parked so close? This whole parking lot, nobody's in it. It's 9:28
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah. That's like using the urinal when all the other ones are open, using
Yeah,
the
dude,
urinal right
like,
next to a
don't
guy.
get weird.
Just don't-
You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't do that.
But as we both kind of focused on the truck, we noticed there were two guys broke in through my back window of my truck
Oh,
and
what?
was stealing all the hunting gear out of my truck. Now I had my deck system loaded up with my guns. I have a camper top. It was all locked up. It was loaded up. And I guess their access point best was the back, the passenger rear window. So they broke it in. They ended up stealing both of our laptops and all my buddy's hunting gear, and they almost got to guns on the back seat, but we interrupted them. And our instinct, and look, in hindsight, we wouldn't go this route again, but our instinct was like, hey, get out of our
Yeah.
truck and run, and
Yeah.
run to them. And that's exactly what we did. Like me, I had a white sweatshirt on, so we joke about it right now. My buddy and I was just like, you must have looked like a big white polar bear running down that ramp. Anyways, and so we kind of flank them from both sides. Now remember, like, they got a getaway car, and we yell, so we give them a 30-yard head start to get back in the car. My buddy goes in back of my truck and back of their car, and I cut him off and get stuck in front of the car. Now, this sedan was, I don't know, 6 inches, 8 inches off the ground. Like, if you one look at me, like, I ain't fitting under 6, 8 inches of cars. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting dragged or I'm riding the roof. And that's exactly what happened. I got caught in front of the car. They punched it, kind of took me out by my knees. I grabbed each side of the roof, like at the windshield wipers,
Yeah.
And I remember what popped in my head, and it was only like 15, 20 yards until they did exactly what I thought, was that cut the wheel. And I said, whenever they cut the wheel, just let go and barrel roll on the concrete. And that's ended up what happened. And all because I was going to feed people and make a hunt later. Now, to like sum that all up, I'll put it to you this way. I never even got refunded my $10 for that parking job. It was on the news and all this stuff like that. And they broke the back window. And here we are. And the temperature dropped too. We were in like early January.
Okay.
So the temperature dropped, and we're looking at this window. And I'm like, dude, like, we can't ride around Arkansas the next 5 days with this window broken. Like, we got to figure this out, too. Like, the cops are asking us all the kind of questions. There's an ambulance there, all kind of stuff. I mean, freaking 5-alarm fire, you know what I mean? So,
Any cameras in that parking lot? You got to assume there's cameras in that parking
Dude,
lot.
there was
like, they're
cameras
charging you to get in?
There's cameras all over. They believe it was an inside job. That's what, like, the ambulance guys will tell you that's an inside job. And they thought y'all were going on a 2-hour, what do you call it? Tour. And y'all turned around after 15 minutes and said, that's not for us. And they got caught in the act,
Yeah.
And,
somebody probably called when you showed up and was like, hey, we just got somebody in here. Yeah. That sucks.
Out of state plates, nice truck, no people are coming around hunting this time of year out of Memphis. You cross the river, you're in Stuttgart, basically, capital of duck hunting in Arkansas. So, and then we had some good friends in Memphis that knew a window guy who was able to replace the window that day. We ended up cooking our dinner. And we continued on. I had to get a couple pain shots in my shoulder and stuff like that. But we ended up continuing on that duck hunt and had a really, really memorable 5 days in Arkansas, just me and my buddy. But in the back of our head the whole time, it's like, dude, can you believe we just got robbed and ran over in the Graceland parking lot? I mean, like, um, so that's
Elvis
my
was
myth.
shaking his head, man. Elvis
Dude,
was from the grave shaking his head.
that's all right. We had redemption the next year because the next year I won a boat at the Shin Film Festival, and then we were towing the boat back, we were like, we should name this boat Elvis. And that boat, I
Yeah.
didn't have it for a long time, but its name was Elvis for that reason. It was kind of like our little like redemption story of Memphis. So
That's a great story. It's got like the least amount of hunting of any hunting story I've ever heard, but I still loved it, man. That was awesome.
it's yeah, it all started with a hunting story. And look,
Yeah.
like the guys at Shen,
Yeah.
we got his gear back and stuff like that, and they didn't take any guns. So, but
Oh,
I
you
gotta.
did get his gear back?
Whoa, we had to go the Shin guys in Memphis. That's where their home office is. Got
Okay.
him all outfitted out with gear again, so
Gotcha.
we could go on the rest of
Gotcha.
the trip. So,
Okay.
yeah, like I said, no guns were taken or anything like that. But not a lot of people, it's not like I go around telling that story to everyone. I don't think I've ever told it on a podcast. And so, I was like, it kind of starts with hunting. It's like the reason why we're there. Let me just throw it in there.
Yeah, I mean, it teaches you something, and also it's like an advertisement for Decked, right? Like, you lock your stuff up. I don't know how many times I've heard, and not on the podcast specifically, but of people like just leaving stuff in their truck or whatever, and things just getting yanked. I would say like almost every season in like the Colorado Elk Hunters Facebook group, someone's like, "Hey, I went inside to get gas with a elk head in my back of my truck, and someone yanked it." And I'm like, how are people doing that? Like, it just doesn't, like, they'll steal anything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that, I mean, like, guess people will like claim a Euro mount or a fresh head out of the back of a truck just to claim it's theirs? Is that where our insecurities have gotten us? I mean, that's,
I don't know that, or maybe like they sell it, right? Like antlers, or it's like $10 a pound or whatever you can turn those into. Because I mean, don't quote me on this. I don't know if it's true, but I've always heard that like they ship them to China and they think they're good for boners. Like they grind it up, and I don't know what they do with it, but it's like elk antlers are good for Asian boners, I guess.
bone for boners. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
Something I never heard.
you get a good rack. Those things weigh 30, 40, 50 pounds. If that's $400 if you can get it to somebody who trades in that kind of stuff.
I know a guy. You know what? We should go grab that elk head out the back of the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Oh man. But yeah, no, people, I don't know, I hear hunters losing their stuff all the time. And I don't know why. It seems to me like it's always hunters, but maybe that's just because of the circles I keep. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, look, we know better than to leave stuff like I would never park on the street in Memphis overnight and leave really anything of value in my truck.
Yeah.
But 9 a.m. in the Graceland parking lot,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of there's a lot of like evil, I mean, not evil, level-headed people out there to be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, you're there for,
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, we're all like
Yeah.
$10, secure parking lot. Look, there's a security guard. Like, no problem.
Yeah. Like the people had to pay money to get in to steal something unless it was an inside job, right? So like they have
Exactly.
to pay money to get in. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So they just
Yeah.
ran the gate and nobody called it in, or did
Yeah.
they pay for it? We all got good video cameras. Like, I mean, come on, there's
Yeah.
so
That's an inside job. That's an inside job. That sucks. That sucks. But all right. Well, what else we got, Jean Paul? That was a good one. You're the first person officially to fly off the hood of a vehicle on my podcast.
the other one actually is kind of related in a way, but it does have more hunting. It happened in this last season of Duck Camp Dinners, season 4. Now we didn't show this on video because not of any illegal anything, but more just like and you'll get why when I tell
Okay.
the story.
Yeah.
But we're hunting with my buddies Cam and Drew Peters from Fowler Hide Company out of Lubbock. We're filming Duck Camp Dinner season 4 out now. Stir the Pot YouTube. Shameless
There we go.
plug. And we get to the shop. We're hunting a loaf pond. For those not familiar with waterfowl hunting, a loaf pond would mean the geese have already gone out and fed in fields, and now they're coming back to a place just to chill, to loaf. And
Okay.
and the idea of that pond is they fed, they're eating, they're coming back. Now they hang out for 4 or 6 hours till they go back and feed again. And so, but
With
this
that,
look,
typically, I'm not a big birder. I want to get into it. I don't have the people to go with, so I'm trying to figure it out solo. But like, is that like they'd go in the mornings right at dusk or dawn or whatever, and that's where they're feeding. And then a little bit later of a hunt, you'd go to a loaf pond. So it's
that's
like
correct.
a
That's
later
correct.
start. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
which is an amazing thing, right? If you're hunting
Yeah,
a
it
loaf
sounds pleasant.
pond, yeah, you're setting decoys at 9 a.m. and you're hanging out till like 10:30, 11 till they kind of come back to loaf. And so
Okay.
they take that midday section just to chill and do duck or goose things, whatever they
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
things do,
Whatever that is.
you know, whatever that is. But yeah, for the most part, go out in the morning at first light or a little bit after, eat, come back, loaf, go back, eat, and then roost, right?
Okay.
So hunting a loaf pond. Now we get to
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
Introducing Oakley Meta Vanguard, the new performance AI glasses designed for athletes. With hands-free capture on an action-ready ultra-wide camera, powerful open-ear speakers, and built-in Meta AI that syncs with your Garmin devices for real-time insights while you train. Take your performance to the next level with Oakley Meta Vanguard. Athletic intelligence is here. Learn more on meta.com. This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Tomorrow night, witness the end of an era. John Cena takes center stage for his final appearance ever on Monday Night Raw. One last match, one unforgettable farewell. Celebrate the legacy of a true WWE legend. Don't miss Monday Night Raw, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, only on Netflix. Be there for the moment everyone will be talking about.
the Fowler shop, right? We go meet and Drew, and they're like, "Yeah, we're hunting this pond right here," and he kind of just does this, and we look right there. There's a dumpster, and then we kind of have to look across the dumpster, and there's this like pond about
Okay.
about 100 yards, down the way. And then he goes, "Yeah, right here," and he looks down. There's a crack in the concrete. It's like when they slab out concrete or pavement, it's in squares or whatever, and it's like not a natural crack, but like a engineered crack,
Yeah.
if you will.
Like a
Separation.
seam. Yeah.
Seam. Thank you. And he says, "See the seam right here? That's the county line. The shop's in the county, in the city limits. Right there, not in the city limits." And so we're literally hunting the city limit line. The pond on one side is out of the city limits. Where we're standing at the time is in the city limits. Now, Drew and Cam, their shop is kind of like like a nice strip mall, if you will. And so there's a number of other businesses that share a parking lot. And this one business is, I don't know if she's like a hairdresser, owns a salon or something like that. Some like women's cosmetics, if you will.
Yeah.
And so we go out there, we're setting decoys and so on and so forth. And 9 o'clock rolls around, 10 o'clock rolls around, and like, all right, now we start seeing birds like single in, double in, triple in. The whole shoot ends up getting Western. I'm talking like it's 8 shooters, five geese a person, so that's a 40 goose limit.
Yeah.
And if we're all great shots, we'd be shooting 40 shells, right? We know that's the thing. So it's like Vietnam down there,
Yeah.
essentially in the city limits. And probably like after first 2 big volleys,
Yeah.
you see a woman,
And it's also midday, like mid-business
Yeah,
hours.
that's right. Yeah, you're right. Great point. Mid business hours. You see that the shop of the lady who owns that shop like marching out, and she's like yelling. You can hear her, but you can't understand her. She's like yelling at us. You can see her on the phone. She's yelling at us. Anyways, cops show up. On the
Quick
edge
question
of the pond.
about the
Yeah.
property. So
Yeah.
is it public land? Is it owned by these guys, your Lubbock friends, or like what the
Yeah.
land that you're on? How's
Yeah.
that?
It's privately owned, and we had permission from the landowner to hunt it.
Okay.
Right? So that's basically how it works in Texas. Privately
Yeah.
owned, I mean, unless it's public, right? Privately owned,
Yeah.
you got to have permission, which we had. We had a written permission because they actually knew, and I didn't know at the time, that there's a good possibility the cops are going to come because this lady's going to call the cops.
Okay.
So we got like a formal letter of permission and then proof that we're hunting on out of the city limits, and that's really all we needed. That's in the cop.
Yeah.
We tried to convince the cop to come in the blind with us and come take a couple, like, shoot us in it. You know, we thought it'd be like such great TV, like get the cops,
Yeah.
get the two cops to come in the
When
blind.
are you off
and
duty,
shoot us.
sir?
Like, how badass? He's just like got a nod. He's like, you know, but yeah, no, that he watched for like 30, 45 minutes, shoot some geese out of the air. I think he enjoyed the show and went back in his cop car and left. And you know, that never happened to me. Of course, you get stopped by game wardens at the dock, or they stop you at the blind or whatever. But you know, those things happen. But I never had another business owner call the cops on us, and you know, it was just, I was kind of crossing my fingers. I was like, come on, man, get in the blind with us. That'd be great. But
Yeah. God,
yeah,
that's great. She's counting down the days till her lease expires. I'll tell you that.
well, and you know, like that city limit's going to only expand, you know, and next year or sometime in 5 years, that land's not going to have been hunted. And, you know, there's big stretches of land in those ponds that go on for miles around Lubbock. But you kind of think about it, like in your head, like, God, that circle is going to continue just expanding, kind of soaking up
Yeah.
all the, you know. So what's better, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. I also love how easy the police were to work with, because like I told you I lived in Texas for a little bit, and like, man, I was trying. My in-laws lived in unincorporated, but technically within city limits of San Marcos, and he had deer everywhere. And I was like, can I? And so I'm calling up the police. I'm calling up the state, patrol. I'm calling up the Fish and Wildlife, just being like, can I shoot these? And almost all of them are like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Like, they're like, oh, that's great. That's awesome. Do it. Eventually, I think it was the city police for San Marcos were like, nah, technically you can't do it inside of city limits. And it's just the whole city. Like, no matter what, if you own land inside the city of San Marcos, Texas, you cannot hunt it. And I was like, well, that's a shame. But they're all super willing to work with you as long as you're willing to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, I think, look, I mean, we anticipated that happening, or they anticipated that happening. We had all the documentation. There's not much that could be done, and the cops, I think, were, as long as we had the right documentation, they knew that we were in our legal rights and limits to do so. And in your case, like, God, I mean, Texas got a deer problem. Most ranches in Texas be like, please come take some does, some call bucks off this ranch 1 or 2 times a year, and if you can't hunt even city limits, like, deer just overpopulate, you know what I mean? You gotta do something. Eventually you're gonna have to do something about it.
Yeah, my father-in-law, I mean, he's passed, so I'll tell this story, but he would freeze, he got a paintball gun and he'd freeze the paintballs because they would just destroy his property. And so they came around and he just whap, and they're just like getting hit with steel, bearings. So I was like, hey, let me just harvest 1 or 2, because they'll stop showing up for a while if I can harvest 1 or 2. But unfortunately, it just wasn't worth it. And I think one of his neighbors was feeding them and was like not really into the idea. So I was like, man, most likely they'll catch me and I'll get in trouble. So I'll stay away from this one.
Little pets, yeah.
A lot of folks in Texas love their little pets, even though they're all malnourished and they all are too skinny because there's too many of them. I even tried to put together we lived in New Braunfels, I tried to put together a thing where we could hunt our neighborhood, being like, guys, all of our deer are dying because there's not enough to support them out on the terrain that we have here. They're all just skin and bones. But there were too many people just being like, no, I love my pets, don't touch them. So you can't win them all. Trying to strengthen the herd, but I don't get it.
Fed deer though, also, in my opinion, like, so I've hunted some high fence ranches where people are, high protein, big. I don't know what the nutrient is that makes them grow antlers the way they do, just freakish
Yeah.
antlers. And I find they taste funny, man. I find
Huh.
that like I can't like if it's gonna sound weird, but like if you ended up eating a person that was just all hyped up on testosterone and steroids, like wouldn't
Yeah.
it taste funny? You know, like wouldn't
All that
like,
person is eating is just protein powder.
it's just like you know, I mean,
Yeah, it's a good point. I haven't really put it. I would have stayed away from the cannibalism subject, but I think you're
mean,
right.
I think we can all visualize like a extremely jacked steroid protein dude, you know, and you
Yeah.
visualize if you put that into the deer. And like because they're growing these huge things for whatever, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Steroids.
Yeah. It would probably taste like I don't know, like fake tanner or something.
It just tastes
know.
funny, man. It's nothing like if you go to Mississippi and Alabama and you're hunting food plots, you know, like
Yeah.
that's a completely different deer than a high
I
fence
believe it.
Texas big monstrous freakers antler deer, you know?
Yeah.
Completely different deer.
I've never thought about that, but I think you're probably 100% right. I've only been whitetail hunting once, just because of where I'm from, right? We just don't have much whitetail out here in Colorado. So in Texas, I managed to shoot a buck, and he came from that Golden Triangle down there in South Texas, where they got giant, crazy freak bucks that have like 17,000 points coming off. They're not typical. He probably was going to somewhere and eating all sorts of stuff. He did taste. It was the least favorite animal I've ever eaten.
A little
I'll tell you that.
musky. A little musky.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I ate him. I ate every bit of him. But my wife's like, we don't hunt whitetail anymore. And I'm like, well, give me one more chance. Give me one more chance.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, cool. What else you got? I know you had at least 3. I don't know if anyone else have popped up in your mind here, but let's keep going, man.
Yeah, man, I have one more, and it's a short one. It's more just like you know, as I get this question a lot, and it combines two questions I get a lot. One, like my favorite duck hunt I've ever been on, and two, my
Okay.
favorite duck to eat. And the answer to both of those would be the canvasback. And you're not a big waterfowl guy, so canvasback, also known as the king, a lot of he was back in the early 1900s when we had market hunting. We were out in punt guns and shooting 50, 100 every you know shots into
Yeah.
big things, and it was the canvasback that we almost eradicated, that we almost made extinct, which it still has a 2 or 3 person limit, 2 or 3 duck limit per person. I think it's 2, and at the time of the story, I think it was 2 as well.
Okay. So the canvasback, couple quick questions, just because,
Yeah.
like I said, not my area of expertise. Were they specifically hunting those, and that's why they almost drove them to extinction back then?
They were the most sought after, one of the most sought after species of duck for restaurants, the great restaurants in New York City, San Francisco, and beyond to serve. And like you could get top dollar as a butcher in a grocery store for canvasback duck. They're part of the diver duck species. So there's diver ducks and then there's dabbling ducks. A big dabbling duck would be like a mallard, your typical greenhead.
Yeah.
And the king of it, definitely the diver species, but they, you know, commonly like called like the king of ducks is the canvasback. And it's probably a little bit smaller than a mallard, but still
Okay.
has just a nice big chest cavity. It typically always has, as a lot of divers do, a good like pearly white fat cap over the breast. Even when
Okay.
you get them as far south as we get them in Louisiana. A lot of
Okay.
ducks kind of lean out once you get in Louisiana as they're making their, you know, now
Big
they're
old
on
trips.
mostly
Yeah.
grass and protein diet. Anyway, so there's all kind of different little things changes as you move further south in the winter.
Okay.
But the canvasbacks, there was just one year where we're in South Louisiana, we're having a really good year. And we always have a lot of diver ducks, mostly we call ringnecks, also lesser scaup or bluebills. That's a different species, but they're related. They're also a diving duck. We always had a lot of them. But this year we were seeing a lot of redheads and canvasbacks. Still, both divers, both look the same, both medium to large diver ducks.
Okay.
And you know, but they kind of skirt off. We were seeing a lot in big piles. We were shooting them every now and then, whether that be a female or male, and you can only shoot 2 a person. At the time of this, I believe it was 2. This is about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And but then there was one day, it was late season in January. We probably had 2 weeks, 3 weeks left in the season in January. And man, we had a big fog set in. And not most people don't like hunting. Most waterfowl people choose bluebird, cold, and windy. That's the recipe for so much. Bluebird,
Okay.
cold, windy. In South Louisiana, we tend to like what we call more ducky weather. Misty, a little rainy, foggy, a little nasty, a little wet.
Okay.
And that's mostly because we feel like we can get the ducks down and committed when they see decoys, as opposed to like seeing everything and then to pick you apart. Because a lot of times you're hunting out of boat blinds, so you don't have the best concealment. You might need
Got
to
it.
pop. Like, it's just a concealment thing. So if you can conceal yourself within the natural environments, obviously that's what you want to do. And like the precipitation, the fog, that all helps.
Yeah. The
Well,
duck can only see so much rather than seeing 10 miles of possible
yeah.
landing spots. It's
Mhm.
just seeing what you can see. Okay, cool. I
Yeah,
like it.
and most people would say, I hate hunting in that weather. We don't kill ducks in that weather. Well, this was not the case for this hunt. And
Good.
yeah, and the first and what we noticed like right away is that there were four Drake canvasbacks. We had four hunters with us at the time. We were four Drake canvasbacks, just light right in the decoys. As soon as we could start seeing, they could start seeing, and they had never done that all season. And they lit right in decoys. It was kind of non-typical of the rest of the season. And we kind of just froze because they landed, and we like to shoot birds when their feet are out about to land, and that's when you like right before they land, they're completely committed. You got them, and it gives them a fighting chance to leave, right?
Yeah.
Because once you shoot a duck on the water, I mean, that's fine. I don't mind shooting a duck on the water. It just becomes a little less sporty. And these ducks committed so fast, they all caught us off guard, and they're all on the water now. And now we're like, hey, hey, and then they get up, and we shot two off of there, and that's basically a quarter of the limit right there. So like, that two-person or whatever, and we kind of look at each other, and before we can even reload, another group does the same exact thing and comes in just like 15, 20 yards from us again. And so we end up we don't shoot at those, and we're like, okay, if this is how this morning's going to be, then we need to let them completely commit and only shoot drakes, right? The males, right? They don't, obviously the males, they don't reproduce. I mean, obviously they're part of the whole
Yeah.
reproduction cycle, but if you can lay off females, especially on canvasbacks, because they're so regulated and they've been endangered, you lay off the females so they can go have a clutch, right?
Yeah.
And we end up having and the reason why I think like I've shot more ducks in one hunt before, because it's 6 ducks a person most places. So if you're only shooting 2 canvasbacks a piece, but it was with my 3 best friends in a boat together, and this like really special morning in South Louisiana, watching ducks do what we've never seen them do in this area before, and we're only shooting canvasback drakes, and we're just like having just the best time. And obviously by it's all over, we're just watching. Now it's like 9 o'clock, so the fog's a little bit lifted. That sun kind of came up and burned up some of that precipitation, but they're still acting the same way. And
Really?
and still acting the same way. Well, as that fog started to lift, and a front started to come in, and we started getting this wind. Because the next day, I remember we had a similar hunt, except it was 15-mile-an-hour winds, and it wasn't foggy, but it was windy, and they wanted to just come in the same areas. They're like, get me out of this wind,
Yeah.
But we were just on the X that day. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, maybe it was like they just wanted a place to land, and it was foggy. They didn't know where they were. They were just disoriented, and all they could hear was like a call and some black bodies in the water. That could have been it, or we could have just been lucky on the X.
Okay.
So,
That's so cool. It's cool to have just like that day. Like it's nothing in particular. It's just everything was perfect. Like everything just kept working out with the
Yeah.
right people in the right spot, shooting the best type of bird you can shoot. Those are some pretty great stories. I gotta ask, how do you cook up a canvasback? Like, what is your go-to?
Man, well, I wish I had, I've cooked a canvasback a dozen or so times. I wish I had a place that we could hunt that was just as good as like that every year to get them. Um, but when I kill a bird like that, I treat it pretty special. I'm plucking the whole
Yeah.
thing first of all.
Okay.
I'm also going to
What is
try
the
to
other
drop.
option? I assume you take the feathers off no matter what. So, like, what's the difference
Well,
between
some
plucking and what are the other
people
options?
some people will maybe just pluck the breast and then carve out
Ah,
the
okay.
breast.
Got it.
Some people will even, you can make a slit in the fat cap and peel back to where you don't even get the fat. You're just left with meat, like
Just
like
okay.
skin off breast, right? That is the most wasteful, especially the canvasback, because what they have so much of is that visceral fat cap all around everywhere,
Yeah.
So they're a good roasting duck for that reason. But I'm plucking it whole. If I can age it, I'm gonna age it. Whether I'm aging it before I'm plucking it or I'm aging it as a carcass in a fridge, like on a rack. But I'm gonna
Okay.
age it for a couple of days. I want that skin to dry out. I want that meat to become a little bit more tacky.
Okay.
If you think about all the great steaks that you eat in America, they're all aged like at least 30 days.
Yeah.
So then they put age on top of it, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever you want to put it. So, and there's a reason they do that. Red meat especially, eats better if you can age it in some sort of fashion. So I'm going to age it. And then what I like to do, because I've kept that duck whole, plucked, skin on, fat on, bones, all the bones still in, even preserving the neck bone and so on. What I like to do is what I call the crown. You take the crown of the bird, which is both breasts that are still attached to the breastplate in the sternum. You just
Okay.
go underneath and you break the bones by its wings, and you basically have this like hood, right? This whole
Yeah.
breastplate that stays bone on, two breasts on each side. And then I like to give it a nice little rub with like honey, fennel, black pepper, salt,
Okay.
and then slow roast it in the oven till it hits mid-rare. Maybe I render some of that cap and that skin, get that rendered, then slow roast in the oven to mid-rare. I'll take the legs, whether it's different ducks or all canvasbacks or maybe it's a mixed bag. I'll take the legs and even put that in like a jambalaya, a gumbo, some sort of stew where they
Okay.
can pull the meat off the bone. And then I'm using the gizzards, the livers, and the hearts in whatever that stew is, and I'm taking all the bones that I have left over that I'm not stewing or whatever, and I'm making duck stock from them. Probably a roasted
Oh
duck
man.
stock that I can even use in the stew or make a soup with later on, or have a duck pho. So like when it comes to canvasback, it's just all like you have those three kind of components, right? You have
Yep.
breast, leg and thigh, bones. That's like three meals, right? That one bird like can
Yeah.
feed that one canvasback, if done right, can feed a family of four easy,
Okay.
So
Yeah. God, sounds delicious.
maybe all you need is one or two. You know what I mean? Like as the limit requires.
Yeah. Man, I had maybe about a year ago went to a nice restaurant and had a roast duck breast, and I was like, "This is the tastiest thing I think I'd ever eaten at that." And I've thought about it like just randomly, been like, "Man, I need to go shoot some ducks," because I think about that meal that I had, and I think you just re-inspired me to get out this year. It'll be tough with the baby and all that, but I'll just sweet talk the
Well,
wife
you
a little
got
bit
you
and
got
figure it
your
out.
hands full, bro. I mean,
Yes,
I got
sir.
my hands full with two, and you got one a month away. You said
Yeah.
a week and a half away.
What is today? What? Yeah, 13 days. 13 days.
God
So,
bless you. I'm praying for you right now, bro. I started praying for you this morning. This when we started this podcast when you told me that. That's a
yeah,
bold
man, it'll
move.
be
Well,
tough. It'll be tough. It was not on purpose. The first two were pretty well planned out. This one was a oops, but it is what it is. We're excited to meet the little man.
meant to be, my friend. Meant to be.
Yes,
Then.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
love it, man. You'll obviously look, what I hear, three's easier than two. That's what I've been told. So
We'll see. We'll see. The older ones are hopefully going to be able to help with the some of the load of the younger ones. It doesn't
okay.
seem that way right now, but we'll have to wait and see when the new guy gets here and see if they're actually helpful or if it just becomes a headache. I'm sure it will be wonderful. By
You're
the way,
gonna do great.
Jean Paul, any additional stories you want to share? Otherwise, man, I want to talk a little bit about your new YouTube show that just released.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's good. I'd love to talk a little bit about YouTube. It's been a fun experiment over the last 8 months.
Yeah, but tell me all about it, man. I'd love to hear more, and then obviously tell the people where they can find it, what your channel is, all that, etc. And I'll make sure to share some links so that people can go straight to it and check out some delicious duck food.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so Duck Camp Dinner is actually on its fourth season right now. This season was the Texas tour. Seasons 1, 2, and 3 have all been shot in Louisiana, and the fourth is the first season we leave Louisiana and hunt on a state that we're not as familiar with.
Okay.
All 4 seasons can be found on my YouTube channel, Stir the Pot. You can find other seasons, like it was part of the Meat Eater lineup for a couple seasons, and it was on the Split Reed YouTube channel, which is a big waterfowl community. And I created my own channel just about 8 months ago. Of course, Duck Camp Dinners is on there, but there's a whole bunch of other, I think, really fun cooking content or cooking adjacent, food adjacent content on there. And I would just suggest like Duck Camp Dinners. That's my baby. We've been at it for like I said, 4 seasons now, and now we're at 28 episodes in total. I mean, that's a lot, and it's been fun to make that. But I think the channel that I created, Stir the Pot, it has, it covers a lot of all the interests, my interests. Of course, hunting and fishing is one of them. Waterfowl is one of them. But, all this stuff in food that I'm really passionate about and interested in.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. Is there any other things that you want to share with the folks? I think we're probably about to wrap this thing up. I know we've got places to be, people to see, but you mentioned your Instagram. Are there other handles you want to share, or anything like that?
Yeah, so Instagram, Chef, JEAN_Paul, the same on TikTok.
Okay.
Really, I do a lot on Instagram. I try to answer a lot of direct messages that people send to me, whether it's recipes or cooking advice or hunting advice. Always reach out to me there. I'm pretty accessible. If I don't answer, it's only because I get lost and lose track of time, as we all do, and it's an honest mistake, But I'd love to connect with people over Instagram. But really, I'm having fun because I've put Duck Camp Dinners on Waypoint TV, Outdoor America, Outdoor Channel, different YouTube channels. Sorry about that.
I didn't hear a thing. Don't worry about it.
You didn't hear that. Different YouTube channels and so on. And it's been a long time coming for me to take all the different content, short, medium, long, that I'm interested in, different food, different cooking, different hunting and fishing, different antics, if you will, and put them in one place so people hopefully can enjoy that. So you can, check that out on Stir the Pot. If you're not into watching YouTube shows, you'll find it on Outdoor America, Waypoint TV, Outdoor Channel, all coming in late 2025 and early 2026. And so wherever you get your hunting and fishing kind of videos, you can find Duck Camp Dinners. But if you're just into cooking and folks that like to have a good time and, have fun doing what they're doing, just be themselves, then Stir the Pot channel might be good for you folks too.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So you did season 4. It's been Louisiana, Texas. Are you going to branch out more to other places?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Or am I ruining the surprise here?
No. I'm not making a season 5 this year. I'm taking a break myself with a 1-year-old new to the house. Just trying to push my YouTube a little bit more, creating some stuff around that's a little more YouTube-ish. Duck Camp Dinners is a project.
I bet.
Jack. I'm like much more than just creating a YouTube show. So that takes a lot of my time. It's a year. It takes about a year to create, right? In full. So taking my time out of that, I think I'd be interested to hear what your listeners think if they've watched Duck Camp Dinners, because there's a lot of people that say, man, just stay in Louisiana, stay at the floating camp, y'all just do y'all thing, But then I'm of the camp to feel like if I want to continue to see it grow, then we have to go different places and see different and find other great camps. But I don't know. Sometimes I feel I'm in the minority with that thinking. Even being the creator and the host of it, my gut tells me to do that, but so many people are like, no, don't, stay Louisiana. We love what y'all are, you and your friends in Louisiana. at your home base,
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to hear what
yeah.
people think about that.
Well, I always believe, and basically, no matter what the subject matter is, follow your gut, man. Like, that's the right answer.
Yeah.
And, I don't know anything about all this stuff, but I'm telling you right now, if that's what your gut's telling me, that's what gets me excited. And you could even do both, right? Like, you're probably going to hunt in Louisiana every year.
Yeah.
Record one
And so that's
with
how
your buddies.
that's how we did Texas tour. We looked at it like a road trip. So we started in Louisiana, took 6 episodes in Texas, and then we end in Louisiana. It's just a big road trip. That's how we film it.
Exactly, man. Bookend it with the good old, right? And then fill the middle in there with something new, There's tons of great places. South Dakota. I can't wait. When you come to Colorado, I reserve a spot in that blind, man, all right?
Heck yeah. Yeah, you're in. You're in.
All right, man. All right. Well, hey, this was a ton of fun. You had some amazing stories. I can still see you on the hood of a car right now, just rolling through Elvis's parking lot. This was fun. So thank you so much.
Look,
man.
I have iPhone video of it. It's short because the lady captured it that was walking behind us. But I'll send it to you. You want to throw that up? You want to throw it up and promote the show? Like talking to this guy off the hood of a car. So.
Yeah, I promise, this is hunting related. That'd be great, man. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I'll have you back on anytime, brother. So whenever you got something else you want to share, got another story, please reach out. We'd love to have you.
Right on, Michael. I appreciate your time, man. Thanks so much.
Of course, brother. All right, guys. That's it. Another couple stories in the books. I want to thank the chef Jean-Paul for, of course, reaching out and getting us connected through a mutual friend. It was a pleasure to meet you, sir, and your stories were world class. So thank you very much. To you listeners, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are listening right now, whatever you're listening to, scroll down and give us a review. I have a lot more listeners than I have reviews on all of my platforms, so if you guys wouldn't mind giving me a 4-star, 5-star, it helps more people find us, helps us grow. But most importantly, guys, please do check out the links. Check out what Chef Jean-Paul is up to. Check out the Duck Camp dinners. Check out his YouTube. Check out all the stuff that he's up to, his meat eater, etc. But guys, thank you so much. I do appreciate you for tuning in. Now, you know what to do. Get out there and make some stories of your own.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah?
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.